What's up? Welcome back to my channel, or for the first time if you're new, I'm Sylvan, and today I'm going to be reacting to Remielle's animated short and EP. I am quite late to these, admittedly, apologies for that, but I have remarkably managed to completely avoid spoilers for both these and the story, so I am eager to get into them. Of course, excited to see what we get here. Even just with this thumbnail, I'm very curious what exactly is going to be going on in the Day of Silence, as this is called, as I don't immediately recognize this other character. But if I were to guess, they probably are someone quite important to Remielle. We shall see if they're from her past and they may or may not be around anymore. Who knows? Either way, we won't know until we get into it, so feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoy the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, consider becoming a channel member if you want to support me just that little bit extra, and let's get into this.
What is this?
Okay. Arc, okay.
What have you all been hiding?
Whoa.
On behalf of Eridu City Hall,
That has to be in reference to the, like, ooh, okay. Void Hunters. But that has to be in line with the, like, lie to keep peace, or whatever. Helios Academy? God damn it.
Why didn't you let me finish back then? Also, tell me why they put your name on the project team without asking me.
I like that we got just a glimpse of some of the other Void Hunters.
I'm not comfortable letting you go alone.
You worry way too much, Mom.
What, worried I'll upstage you?
Upstage? You're funny. As a reward, I'll humor you with a dance.
Okay.
Don't you even try to step on my feet.
That's my line.
Hey. Oh boy. Oh, wait a minute.
Dance obsessed worrywart.
Dance, but don't make it a scene. Why is everyone staring at me?
I didn't expect a song like this.
Top of the list again. I see.
Okay.
It's a surprise.
We get her backstory in song? Not expected.
Trust me.
Also interesting that this is essentially being shown to Arc, I guess.
I'm already there. Watch it once, you'll understand. I don't lose, I only win.
The Song of a Prodigy.
But I've seen you.
Ooh, a duet.
A
duet.
And they're just you beneath.
The humanity.
And maybe you say it's fine.
The struggle.
It's just a lot. But I know it's really not.
Okay. This already is giving us so much texture.
Knew I'd find you here.
Oh, they've been childhood friends?
First place again?
Adorable.
Could you teach me how to dance?
Some things can only be done by people with talent. If this works, humanity will be one step closer to conquering the Hollows.
Okay, so they were really close to a breakthrough.
If you want in on this experiment, then come.
Not worried about me upstaging you anymore?
Someone's optimistic.
Oh, right. Here's your gift. I promised, didn't I?
Oh?
Well then, here's hoping everything goes smoothly.
Something tells me it didn't. Oh. Colonel Vike. Into an enchainer. Oh, fuck, okay. Yeah, okay, Jesus. Really solid animation there. Things didn't go well, it seems, and...
She is not an enchainer!
Oh, ooh, the voice acting there.
No, there has to be a way.
Okay. My mind is racing sort of a mile a minute with this, because there's so much here.
Like that too.
Ooh, that's a question.
No more my mind. No.
Okay. It has to do with the Void Hunter weapons. This is the result of the experiment, I assume? I'm already loving this fight scene, by the way. Ooh, the impact frames. I love this entire sequence already. Jesus. Okay. All right. Yeah, we're dealing with the power. Oh, the freeze. The power of a void hunter for sure. Belly. Jesus. Wasn't enough to put her down, but... Oh. Will this bring some humanity back? Yeah, yeah.
To leave your partner like this. You were never much of a dancer.
Jesus. And of course it breaks. Not at all symbolic.
I'm sorry. I should have noticed sooner.
Who's that? Who's that shadow? And notice sooner?
Belly.
They're... Oh. Is this her closer to the modern day given the outfit?
I knew you'd be here. Remielle.
Oh. Oh.
Looking for this.
You really don't know when to go away. Now do you?
Oh. Okay, there's a lot to get into here. So to establish a base understanding of things, jumping all the way back to the lore teaser from a long time ago that first showed us all of the first generation Void Hunters, we were introduced to Colonel Vike and Lieutenant Colonel Dan. Obviously, we know Lieutenant Colonel Dan to now be Remielle, and now with this animated short, we get to at least see a little bit of Colonel Vike. And interestingly enough, between this moment and the original lore teaser and just the rest of this animated short, it's made very clear that these three Void Hunters very much were a bit of a trio, but then, as we continue on through the animated short, it even further is emphasizing the relationship between these two. Remielle and Belly very clearly have a very, very close relationship. Having been childhood friends, as we see later on, fellow Void Hunters, and, as it's sort of jokingly said at one point or another, dance partners of sorts. Which, to me, immediately speaks to the same kind of idea as they were roommates. But I won't lean too hard into that. That's for the shippers to get into. Regardless, the point is that they were probably the people that each of them were closest to. This was their closest relationship, in all likelihood. They trusted each other, they confided in each other, and they were deeply concerned with each other's safety. And evidently, it seems like Belly, perhaps a bit more, was concerned about Remielle's, health and safety than the other way around, but I imagine they both cared about each other greatly in that regard. The sort of teasing moment early on when Belly is saying that she would be worried about Remielle and stuff, and she jokingly says, "You don't have to worry so much, Mom," that very much, I think, defines a lot about their relationship. As we see, Remielle very much was a child prodigy and turned into an adult prodigy. To those around her, everything seemingly came easy to her, and it was effortless, and she just excelled in everything she did. But Belly, Colonel Vike, was the one person, it seems, who was able to see past that, to see when she was overwhelmed, when she couldn't handle it anymore, when things were not okay despite what it appeared on the surface. And Remielle would always sort of brush it off, but that concern was always there. And so, of course, things take the ironic turn that they always seem to do, and the person who was always worried about Remielle is the one to actually end up in an irreversibly terrible situation. And it's here, I think, that it's about time to pivot to some of the sort of lore logistics going on here. It is very clear to me, based on everything we're given here, that At one point, the Void Hunters, specifically, of course, Remielle and a few others in all likelihood, were working on some kind of experiment alongside Helios Academy to do something with the Void Hunter weapons. Something that, if it worked, would greatly aid the endeavor of humanity fighting against the Hollows. And based on the immediate first opening line of this short, it's implied that this experiment failed not because they were ignorant of something, but because something was hidden from them by Arch and Sunbringer. At least Remielle believes that to be the case. Likely it is something to do with the nature of Enchainers, or perhaps the creator, and the fact that Void Hunter weapons are intrinsically sort of like a piece of the creator's power, as that of course would sort of line up for the nature of the creation of an Enchainer so far that we've seen, given that Sarah was on her way to becoming an Enchainer due to the power of the creator, it seemed, and now by seemingly tapping into the power of a Void Hunter weapon, Colonel Vike is similarly on the way to becoming an Enchainer here. But once again, what really intrigues me about this is less the actual mechanics of it, because that is something we just sort of can intuit to some degree, but for the impact of what this actually means for Remielle is the fact that she thinks people have kept secrets that have caused this mistake. A lie has been told, and it has resulted in the corruption of her closest friend. It immediately explains why Remielle, in modern day, has essentially gone on the warpath in a way against Sunbringer, trying to expose whatever this secret is that she's been keeping. Even if we don't know the exact logistics of what the lie is, what Remielle knows, what Sunbringer knows, what its impact on things is, we can already now fully understand, at least to some extent, the intent and motivation of Remielle, or at least how her motivations stem from this moment. And with that, returning more to the moment and the sort of emotional connection and loss here, there's some really, really great moments. The first of which for me is this line from Remielle. The voice acting here, the sort of emotion put into it, immediately puts us into the mind of Remielle. She is in denial in this moment. She is desperate to believe that there is still a way to save her best friend. And then the next moment that really grabs me is after a little bit of fighting, as she's sort of desperately trying to figure out there has to be some way to save her. Her mind then shifts. Am I gonna end up like that too? If this has to do with the Void Hunter weapons and the usage of them or something, she's wielding a Void Hunter weapon right now as well. And so that fear creeps into her, that deep-seated sort of dread that she will be turned into an Enchainer as well. She will be corrupted. And once again, it explains something about the present. The fact that she seemingly sort of left behind her Void Hunter weapon until recently probably is tied to that concern. From here, though, going to the end of the fight, after Remielle has finally accepted that she has to put her down, put her friend to rest, her partner, as she says here, the tragedy of it is the fact that what enables her to deliver the final blow in the end was just that flicker of humanity remaining. Having endured the massive attack from Remielle, the corrupted Vike finds the gift she had given just the day prior to Remielle and says her name. And in that moment of distraction, that's what allows Remielle to kill her. It's just the sort of perfect, classic way to add to the tragedy of it all. And it's from here on out that I have a lot of questions. A lot of things I'm very curious about. As first off, as Remielle is crying over the death of her friend, the fact that she had to kill her, she says, "I'm sorry, I should have noticed sooner." There's a lot of things this could be related to, I feel like. Plenty of which perhaps we don't know. But my best guess is it probably has something to do with the nature of the Void Hunter weapons and the secret or the lie that has been told about presumably those weapons. Likely relating to the idea that the more use of them and the more you tap into their power, the more at risk of corruption you become, until eventually you are at risk of becoming an Enchainer and you are past the point of no return. And so Remielle blames herself in this moment for having not realized that this was a risk, this was something that was going to happen if they didn't stop. But then we get to the more sort of ambiguous stuff that I don't really have an answer for. First and foremost, in this shot, alongside this line, is as she is there crying over the dead body of her friend, there's this shadow that appears on the side that seems to have horns. And the only character I can really think of that matches is this corrupted form of Vike. So either this shadow is a character we're not familiar with yet, or I'm forgetting something, or either literally or metaphorically or sort of spiritually, it is some fragment of Vike, of Belly. And that potentially, if that is the case, could play into this next little segment. This final sequence obviously is quite a while later in time. It seems that Remielle has returned to the wreckage of the fight with Vike after she was transforming, seemingly to try to find the broken gift that she was given, the little sort of music box, but it seems someone approaches with it in hand, as we don't see it, but we hear sort of the winding of it. And though the voice sounds a little different, if anything, it sounds just like a little older. It does sound to me, who is bad at voices, I will admit, it sounds like it could be Belly. And I think that is backed up by Remielle's line here, "You don't know when to go away." So is this literally somehow Belly survived this encounter? Somehow she physically is still around and has grown old? Or is this more metaphorical or spiritual? Is some piece of her soul or spirit or something still around, lingering, perhaps in this place? Or is it, like I said, more metaphorical? Is she just a memory that Remielle cannot escape? And that is a question I don't really think we have an answer for right now. The 3.1 story or the EP might have that answer, but who knows? I have not gotten there yet, obviously, so we'll only have to see. But that is where they end this. A really, really interesting animated short that I think gives us like some tidbits lore-wise, but more than anything gives the emotional core of Remielle as a character. It shows us the kind of person she is and the events that happened that motivate her now. And that is sort of perfect in my eyes. We don't need every single little detail, at least not yet, but having those pieces of motivation, those emotions, that is what I look for going into these. And so with that in mind, let's move over to the EP, where I imagine emotion will sort of first and foremost be the thing on display, as music is prone to do. Now, going into the EP, Toot Tango, as it's called, I don't necessarily know what we'll get into here. Based on just the name and the thumbnail, I feel like it might get into some kind of duality element. Given all the referencing to Belly Vike being the dance partner of Remielle, it is entirely possible we will continue in stuff and themes related to her, and perhaps the sort of absence left there. It takes two to tango, but Remielle has no partner anymore. Or it could go into something more about herself, a duality within herself, given the thumbnail of the two sort of versions of her. But as I said near the start of this video, we'll only find out by going straight into it, so let's do that. I'm also very curious what kind of song this will be, because we got a little bit of a song in the animated short. Ooh, long time ago, very sort of grand. Ooh, chained up, okay. Young lady deep in slumber. Perhaps this is... Oh boy, okay. I was gonna say perhaps this is in reference to like her being like sealed or whatever was going on there. Okay, we're getting a bit of a fun vibe already. Ooh. All right, we've got a bit of a sort of cards aesthetic going on. I can already tell we're getting into a bit more of the playful feel that we have of her. Okay. Leave the past behind, huh? Is she capable of doing that? I love the aesthetic of all this already. Oh boy. Ooh. Solid animation there. Okay. One's not enough. She's looking for a dance partner. I'm liking the vibe here. Also, some great animation. She's the one dipping wise. That's great. Who is she, huh? This is really this is sort of perfect for her, I feel like, so far. Oh, now it's Belle, okay. Nice switch up. Unveil the truth. Oh my god. They are really, really having fun with her, like, flirtatiousness. Remove the veil. The shell broken open, she's inside. Okay. Real fun song for this. I like how they split the Wise and Belle stuff with the black and white outfit. I don't know if that necessarily has a ton of meaning, but it's cool.
Gotcha.
Oh. Maybe it does. A chess game against herself. What's going on here? And we're on the board. Will it be a blessing or a curse? Is she an angel or a demon? Okay. I'm formulating some ideas here. Either way, this is just really fun. I'm loving all the animation and the song. 2 in 1. A dance with herself. Okay. I'm having some ideas. There's a lot that I'm liking about this. I've already acknowledged how much the animation is fun. The music is great. It all comes together to create this very sort of fun, upbeat, sort of flirtatious vibe. But at the same time, it's always underlaid by sort of this intrigue, this mystery about her, I think. And that all sort of comes together to pretty perfectly encapsulate how she's been portrayed throughout the story so far. She's always had this sort of playful, somewhat flirtatious side to her. That's how she's always sort of portrayed herself. But there's always been this question of who is she really? What's going on with her? What is she trying to do? It's that sort of synthesis of the playfulness and the mystery into this intriguing character. But to get more into the actual sort of text of the song and the visuals, they very much lean into that idea I mentioned of it takes two to tango. You need more than one person. And for most of this song, it is visually implying that we are to become her dance partner. And I think there is some legitimacy to that. There is something to the relationship between us and her that has sort of been building. And of course, even just from the trailer of the 3.1 version, there's this heavy emphasis on a dance that we share with her. But then at the same time, near the end of this song, it begins to emphasize that there are two of her, that she is 2 in 1, as I think the line goes. And it's with this that we get visuals of her dancing with herself. And it's here that I think the real meat of this sort of thematically comes in. Pulling in some of the ideas from the animated short, she had this question of will she turn into an Enchainer too? And then once again, pulling from the story so far, she is currently a wanted criminal, despite being a hero of humanity, a Void Hunter from the first generation of Void Hunters in the past. So she, to the public, has these two contrasting identities, a hero and a villain, an angel and a demon. But then internally, she probably views herself as the hero, but has this fear that she will become the monster. She is the angel, but could become a fallen angel, a demon of sorts. That one line, I think, is really sort of indicative of a lot. And it's with that that I do very much wonder, is going into the 3.1 story a major question or theme or idea going to be, what will Remielle's legacy be? Will she die the hero or the villain? Will she continue to fight for what's right and be that hero until the end? Until it kills her, perhaps? Or will she be content to fall into darkness? And to me, it seems she is sort of teetering on that edge between the two, or at the very least, perhaps more aptly, she believes she is teetering on that edge. And that isn't to say that she doesn't seem confident in what she's doing, but rather that she seems to have sort of accepted that to an extent she is a villain to the people almost now, at least to the people of Rose Califer. And she, when we're interacting with her, has never really worried or concerned herself with clearing her name. She's just sort of been doing her own thing, having fun with us as she goes about whatever goals she has. And that, I think, is the core of this song. This teetering back and forth, this duality, but at the same time, it is the need for a partner, a need for connection. She is teetering on that edge. She is staring into the abyss, and what she needs to stop her from falling into that abyss is someone to grab onto her, pull her back, and be her dance partner. She lost that partner with Vike's death, and now has been sort of in a downward spiral since, it seems. And that I feel like will be really interesting if that is leaned into in the story itself. And of course, plenty of you, I imagine, already know if I'm right or wrong for all this stuff, but it is nonetheless really interesting to sort of theorize about as I am about to go into the story myself. But with that, I think I'm content with what I've sort of gotten here. So feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment on your thoughts, and very special thanks to all of my channel members, including Alice Guardia, Amora Facilica, Dweller, Juno Sono, and Pokelove101 at the normal tier, and Eliolith and Condom Nano at the cool person tier. Really appreciate your support, as always, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye!